I got no money, I got no bands, but I repent for the shit with the blood in my hands. You better turn the shit up, turn it up higher, spreading this shit just like wildfire. Nobody, I got no friends, but I'm an animal. The blood drips from my chin. You better turn the shit up, turn it up higher, spreading this shit just like wildfire.
Stack a band, stack some guap, I'm heading up to the top. Spin down on the block, in my lap I keep my Glock. Said my bitch was cute, well sorry, she on lock. Junkies on my block, they all looking for the rock.
What's going on, little red herrings? It's Terrence back with another episode of Red Herring Soliloquy. This week we're gonna talk about how I moved on from my ex-partner. Before I start the video, disclaimer, I'm doing this because I want to share my experience on the relationship and what I learned. I know a lot of people are having like problems moving on, and I totally relate with that, and I thought that would be an interesting video to talk about my experience with it, because that's what Red Herring Soliloquy is all about. It's about your experiences and your thoughts about certain things, and this week's topic is about how I moved on. Met her at drama 11. At the time I had a crush on a different girl, and then when I talked to my ex-girlfriend, I was just like, attracted, and words started coming out of my mouth, and the last thing I know I was talking to her, and then eventually I invited to like hang out, and I brought them fruit salad. I talked about this in my different video. Yeah, we dated for a year and 8 months, and then we broke up because it didn't really work out. It didn't really work out. And then it was really difficult for me at the time because it was so close to the end of the year, and I was hoping that I could end the year properly, like in a positive note. But things don't always work out the way I want to, and it's okay. There are other plans. Fate has other plans. Yeah, so for most of 2019 I was very, very depressed. I was very miserable, and one of the reasons I moved out to Victoria was to get away from her, and just like not be reminded of the places and things that we spend time together. Is like, I don't want to go to Vancouver, I don't want to go to this restaurant, that restaurant, and be reminded, because I want to move on. I want to completely block them out of my life. And I think moving out to Victoria and meeting new people, like at work, meeting people in my courses really worked. It really, really helped, and spending time with my friend who was my roommate really, really helped a lot. Gave me lots of advice on things, and whenever I was down, he was always there. I could talk to him. It was nice. So one of the things I did to move on was I focused on myself. I didn't care what other people think. I didn't care who I was affecting. It's like if I was changing, if I was acting a certain way, I didn't really pay that much attention how it affected people, because I really wanted to focus on myself. It probably sounds really selfish, and it might as well be. It probably is selfish, but it's really important that you focus on yourself, you find yourself, and you make yourself happy without relying happiness from other people. Because if you're only happy, if you only love yourself 20% and your partner loves you for 25%, then it's gonna feel like a lot, even though it's only 5%, but it's gonna feel a lot. I know a comedian said that. I can't remember, but I watched his comedy specials. Like, I'll put his name over here. It's one of the things I did. I learned how to love myself, and I learned how to forgive myself. And then second thing I did was to let myself emote. So really get in my feelings. Just talked about it over and over again. Find a person that you can talk to about your emotions and your your frustrations over and over again. Could be a therapist if you can afford a therapist, or if you have a reliable friend who is willing to listen to you talk about the same thing over and over again until you get tired. Then good, because it really helps a lot. Like, the more you talk about it, the more you keep talking about it, you're gonna get annoyed by it, and eventually you're gonna grow out of it, and you will eventually learn how to forgive yourself. Third thing that I did was I distracted myself, and that one came pretty easily because when I moved out to Victoria, 3 days later I got a job, and I was really busy at the job, and I was meeting like every day for like the past week, and like the past 2 weeks that I started, I was meeting new people, like my coworkers, and I was like having a chat with them and getting close with them and getting to know everyone and being friends with them, and that really kept me distracted, and it really helped me like find a new perspective and turn a new chapter of my life. And then eventually they invited me to go out with them, it was like to a restaurant, have fun, get drinks, food, all that good stuff. And yeah, distractions came out pretty easily. And during the second half of summer, because I moved in June, and it was July, August, I was able to spend time with my friends, play video games, hang out, and yeah, distraction came really easily for me. It might not come easy for you if you're like locked up in your house, or if you're not really a go out type of person. It's difficult. So my advice, like for people who aren't really the going out type of person, is to do something that you normally wouldn't do. So if you normally don't read a book, pick up a book, read a chapter every day, and then if you feel like a chapter isn't enough, read 2 chapters, and then just increase the chapter on however you desire. Watch a Netflix show, or watch a Netflix show that you normally don't watch. Watch a movie that you normally don't watch. Do an activity that you normally wouldn't do, and learn something that you wouldn't do. It's like, if you not the type of person to learn an instrument, try learning an instrument, and you're gonna get distracted. And it really helps if you clean your room to get rid of the junk that you don't need, because your room is like a kind of a representation of your mind. So the more cluttered it is, that's also how your mind is cluttered. But yeah, and then one of the things that I did to move on, fourth thing I did, was completely cut off communication. Like block on Instagram, block on Messenger, delete all the photos, everything. Throw away the gifts, get rid of the gifts that aren't useful, all that stuff. Just like make sure there is no trace of that person whatsoever, because it really helps. Like the more you don't think about it, there's like, as long as like there's no stuff that reminds you of them, then moving on is gonna become easier as time goes on. Yeah, and I got lucky because I moved to Victoria, where she doesn't live, and I was able to like go to places without being reminded of the time when we were together. yeah, and then my last advice that I could give and things I did was focus on what you've gained. Focus on the important people in your life. It's like right now you're thinking, I lost the most wonderful person on earth. It's like I lost my partner. They were my everything. Yeah, so if, like, I get it. It sucks. It's really unfortunate. I've been there. And if you want to move on from it, you gotta focus on the important people that will always stick by you and will always have your back. So for my situation, I focused on my friends more. I hung out with them, focused on my new friends at work, and I focused on the positive and people who brought positive vibes to my spirit. And I did all those 5 things like in a loop over and over and over. I made sure I was distracted. I made sure that I'm focused on other things. And eventually I was able to, forgive myself, love myself, and I was able to move on from the relationship. And eventually I became friends with my ex. And yeah, it's like, yeah, when you grow up, your mindset changes, and probably when you're 17 you might think that I'm never gonna be friends with my ex, I don't want them in my life anymore. Then when you grow up, you're gonna realize that they're also human, they also make mistakes, and eventually you two are gonna learn to forgive each other, and one day you'll end up being friends. Or if not friends, then you'll end up being the term is cool, you know what I mean, like you're on good terms. Like you don't have to be friends, you don't have to be close, you don't have to talk, but you'll come to the terms of like having closure, like there's like a final verdict on what your relationship is, whether it be just acquaintances, whether it is being just friends, being good friends, best friends, anything. As long as you two are cool, then that should really be the end goal after a relationship has ended. It will definitely not happen right away. It's gonna take some time, but once it happens, then you're pretty much golden. Once you two have made up, then a great burden is gonna lift, it's gonna release from your soul, and you're gonna feel way better. And yeah, so that's my experience on how I moved on from my ex. It's probably not gonna be the same for everyone, but these are just a few things that I did, or how I did it. People work differently, and if these methods don't work out for you, then let me know. And then if you are willing to share your story, let me know, and maybe I could give my insight on it. I probably won't have the best advice or most profound because I've only had one girlfriend, but I will try to help as much as possible from the knowledge that I have. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you like it. Subscribe, it's free. I have an EP out called Forgotten by Terry Redherring. It's in the description. I would appreciate it if you streamed it and let me know what you think. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one.
I'll never find a woman who will love my imperfections. Someone save me from my thoughts, I really need a Kaylee, I got you. When I look into your eyes, It's like I'm seeing constellations. Got me hypnotized and I'm fighting temptations. Queen of being awesome, it's a fucking celebration. They be falling like it's autumn, obvious admiration. Wipe your tears, say it's alright, I'll be here, don't you worry. Help you face your fears every night, I know it's scary. Perfect harmony like Dodie and the ukulele. I know got a woman and her first name Kay.